here with Mike Jackson, and it's my real pleasure as a friend and a long-time Vic Firth educator to be able to acknowledge you and congratulate you for being selected to the WGI Hall of Fame. It's a great honor and supremely worthy you are. It's always funny for me a little bit when we say acknowledge our achievements. We're still such a young activity. We're not acknowledging people like their career's over. We're really, for some of us like you, I think you're in the middle of your career, not anywhere near.
So, yeah.
Who knows what 20 years from now will be in terms of what we can create, but you recall a little bit about your early beginnings in WGI. What was the first year you had a program participate in a WGI event?
That would be '93, and we attended, I believe back then it was called the Union City Regional up in Northern California, and that was our first taste of drumming indoors. Coming from the Southern California region, it was kind of strange, because we have weather out there that allows us to play outside, so all of the circuits up to that point had been outdoor on a football field, basically arced up behind the pit with band uniforms, Shakos, the whole bit. So it was definitely a new experience in '93.
What made you break away from what was the status quo in Southern California and venture into drums in a gym? What made you go there?
Honestly, I think at that point we were big fans of Clovis West, which is a Jeff Lee, Dave Glide program, and they were just always on the front runners of technology and what you could do with a percussion ensemble. And they were doing the WGI thing, and we wanted to go where the competition was, and the philosophy of surrounding yourself with great people, and that's where we wanted to be. And there really wasn't much going on down in Southern California at that point, so that's what really drove us to go up there and see what that was all about.
So you start where you're seeing someone else do something significant, you want to be a part of it. Now it's changed. You have been a leader where your programs have been, most often out in front from a design, from an achievement standpoint. And so how does it feel now being maybe on another side of the coin, if you will, where you're that guy that people are looking up to and saying, wow, I want to do what he does, or wow, they're doing that. What might we be able to do? How does that feel now, flipping that scenario?
Honestly, I'm not sure I've ever felt the flip, so to speak. If it has happened, it's been very gradual, and I think that I approach things the same way that I always have. I never think of it like that. I never think that, okay, people are watching us and see what we're doing. It's always a challenge, I think, internally, especially with Mission Viejo, because I've been there for so long, that it's an internal challenge to push ourselves and come up with something new, and to always give the kids a sense of a unique identity, so that they don't have to rely on a recap to define their success, that they have something that's special and unique to them, and they can go out there and make finals or not make finals, take whatever placement, and they feel like they've succeeded.
When we're almost approaching 20 years of participation, and where the creativity within our activity is really almost self-dependent. It's dependent on us to grow the activity, and for a designer like you to grow the activity. Where do you get your motivation and inspiration to continue to push forward? Because I would say a hallmark of what you do is that you never feel like there's a pattern or a cookie cutter mentality or formula to what you do, that there's always something fresh about what you do. Where does that come from?
I think it comes from everything. I know it's kind of a boring answer, but that's the scary part, is that you don't know what's coming next. I've been pushed all the way into mid-December sometimes, not knowing what we're doing. I've done a show where I was inspired by the little transponders that you have in your car as you drive through the tollway, and that was State of the State in 2000, just kind of the whole George Orwellian theme. Inspired by my aunt and uncle's 50th wedding anniversary, where they got remarried, for a show we did in 2006 called Home. Just, it comes from everywhere, I think, and that's, it's a gamble not having a drawer full of ideas and things to choose from. It just, you kind of wait for it to come to you.
It's great to hear you say that, as someone who sits on my side of it all too, where I wonder, if you might actually talk a little bit about the fear factor, if you will. I mean, does that stress you out? Maybe it's great for others to hear too about, don't worry if those ideas aren't always there. Just keep in the moment, and good things will come through. Tell me what that's like for you. Well, you mentioned in December you might not have a show.
Right.
Are those ugly and painful?
Try to avoid that.
Are they ugly and painful moments around the Jackson house during those times, or?
No, I keep pretty much to myself regarding those things.
You just know it's going to come, but you know it's going to take its time.
Yeah, as the years kind of build up, you'd think that you'd become more relaxed and more confident with, okay, it'll come, not worried, but it really doesn't.
Yeah.
For me, it is like somebody presses reset and you're just starting all over at the end of every year. And you know that, teaching high school, your seniors graduate, you have a new batch of freshmen, and that coupled with, okay, now I have to basically reinvent the wheel with a show design. I don't know if I'm unique in that way, but it does feel like a reset button every year. And I guess I build a little bit more confidence, but not a lot. I mean, there's some times where it gets down into December and you're wondering when that idea is going to hit, what you're going to do with these kids, and they're looking at us as a staff, based on the past and wanting something real special for them. So that's the main motivation, is to try to get something out there so that they feel special year after year.